Okay, so, just things have been looking up pretty good, and, just keeping things more organized and going to the, and so I'm kind of at a point where I'm I feel happier, I here, and then, I look happier, and of course I still need to watch my weight and stuff. So I'm just gonna bring in a few things I wanted to say that. One, I need to at least I have one of them is like I used to have a plan to bring to budget things, and two, I have some I actually have some contingencies in my new home, and this house is very chill, and very, the atmosphere is very chill, even though they have a 4-year-old that acts out, and just, it's just, a lot of older people, they get really, I guess you could say the fuse gets shorter and shorter, and, but it's my last provider, she's in her 60s, and she needs to, it's like, I don't know if it's she accident, but I find that she casts undue suspicion, and there's something about suspicion that really can really put a bad reflection on us as people. Like, there's a parable of how an evil old king went to meet a good king and was invited for dinner, and the evil king kept telling the good king to switch plates, because he was afraid the food was getting poisoned, but it just kept happening, and the good king just shook his head and ate from the plate in front of him, and the evil king just ended up eating nothing. The point is, what we judge or envy or suspect in others is just reflect. It will always come back to us. It's like, as a Christian, I know that for every finger we're pointing, we end up getting four pointed back at us, And, it really, and thinking about it, it really, just, that's where, because, suspicion can alert you if anything dodgy, but at the same time, it can really hold you back, and it can affect them. And it's not just you; other people get affected too, but by undue suspicion, and I'm a lot more prepared than what other people would think, and just one day I'm gonna cook up something for lunch, and then just and well, when I think about it, I can't just be stuck in all the negativity, and one thing about autism is that many of them are never goofy, and it could also be a sign of post-traumatic childhood PTSD, and and of course, one thing I'm bad for is that with which is common with autism and CPTSD, is when you're clinging to you cling to a strong attachment to objects, and that's what that kind of, and I know I'm especially bad because I cling to things a lot, and I mean, it's just something that quite often most people frown upon, but but I am who I want to be. Then there's also this feeling of like they're always in that fawn or freeze moment. Of what is known as they're always constantly in fight, flight, or freeze. Like they're always looking over their shoulder and afraid of whatever, and it's like kind of goes to the fear thing, like you're afraid, you're afraid of what would happen, and it kind of, and I realize I need to let go of my fear of fear. I need to let go of the fears of disappointment, frustration, and losing control, and all the negative attitudes that come with them. When I realize that those things no longer are no longer good for my attempts at self-protection, then it really doesn't. Then I just need to let it go. Just and and another things that I need to realize is that I'm merely just a vessel, and sometimes I can help others, but I need to learn to know the happy medium. Like if they're just trying to feed their addictions, then it means that they're just unrepentant, and it was like a lot of things on God is like like one thing is that I even though I don't smoke or drink, but like it's just I need to learn things that I mean I've never been married, but I've had 2 different girlfriends before, and my current one she still phones me, but like I mean I can't control anything outside outside on the external part, but I need to just learn how to study my Bible more profusely, and like it was said, like in the gospel, like, it was said, it says in Luke chapter 6:37, it would say, "Do not judge others, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn others, it will all come back against you. And forgive others, and you will be forgiven. Give, and you will receive. And it ends up coming back to you full, pressed down, shake it together, and it makes from room over and pour onto your lap." And how much we give to this world, it determines what we get back. And like we gotta learn, and we also gotta learn that I need to remember. I need to really think that where's the... It's like we gotta learn about our foundation of our faith. And there's actually a very big a thing is that our trials are the trials that we go through in life are what test our foundation. And it was said here, from all outward appearances, every home looks alike. It has they may even had like the same floor plan, but their only difference is the foundation, which is just which will show themselves when they're swept away in the flood. Like, and it implicates that when the storms of life hit us, the true foundation of our lives will come to light. You know, y'all learn. We either have the faulty or non-existent foundation. Like, those who are hear the words, they're quick to, like, they may be quick to judge, but they end up, but they fail. All to apply that in their life, and they end up getting swept. And they're weak. They get weak in the storms, and then they lose their then they give up on that faith. And whereas those who have actually like worked on it, who've actually went deep on that foundation. They're the ones that obey the word. They not only listen, but they follow it in everyday life. They know when to weather the most powerful. They will know how to withstand the most powerful storms, because what keeps them grounded is the teachings. You know, and right now, the way things are, we're running out of time, and to solidify our foundation of our faith. Well, it's up to each and every one of us to make that change. Yeah. You know, like, there's one thing about, in the gospel said, Jesus said that no one tears a piece of cloth from a new garment but uses it to put on and puts it on an old garment, on the old one, because the new garment would be ruined and the patch wouldn't even look like the old one. And it's like likewise, yeah, no one puts new wine into old wineskins, because it would just break open and spill the wine and ruin the skin. It's like new wine has to be put into a new wineskin, but no one drinks the old one. But no one who drinks the old wine always wants the new one, new stuff. So the old one is just fine, and just, you know, like, it really does, like, we need to really think about, okay, we really need to think, you know, there's a lot of people out there that I know very well they are going to into, you know, they will one day find it's too late, because one day we're going to be at the climax of this, at this trying time, and then there's no going back. You know, it is said you know, those who are spiritually dead are gonna, you know, like, you know, like, it's like we gotta learn to let go and just not look back. So, anyways, that's about all I can say for now, and so I'm gonna end this video here, and I'm gonna say, like, God bless you all, and remember, stay strong, and we will get through this together.